East Idaho Newsmakers is brought to you by the Bank of Commerce, your bank of a lifetime.
This is East Idaho Newsmakers with Nate Eaton.
Welcome to East Idaho Newsmakers. Today, our good friends from KLCE 97 KLCE are in the studio. Mike and Liza, Mike Nelson and Liza Raley. I guess you occasionally use your last names.
Yeah, we do.
Sometimes.
Well, thanks for being here, you guys.
Thanks for having us. This is great.
Well,
Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas Eve, so
I brought you a Christmas present.
they brought gifts.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I made you some butter rum Christmas candy.
Ooh.
It has neither butter nor rum in it.
Okay.
So enjoy.
Thank you very much.
They tasted so buttery rummy.
It's just a flavored oil.
Well, it could add some excitement if I ate them and they did have butter and rum on there.
This is the difference between me and Liza. Liza makes things from the heart, and I go and get the good imported chocolate from Germany.
You didn't hand make these.
I did not at all. No.
No, his is delicious and mine a child can
Well,
enjoy.
That's very kind.
No, it's true.
I don't have any gifts for you, but I'm sorry.
That's
Just
fine.
your
Yeah.
presents, Nate.
Yeah, this is our present.
Oh, thank you.
You know how much we love Mike and camera time, so it's,
Yeah.
Well, we love KLCE, especially this time of year. It's Christmas Eve. Let's talk about Christmas music, which you guys have been playing nonstop since what, Thanksgiving?
yeah, we got 5 weeks.
And it's fun. It's fun to listen
Yeah.
to. Everywhere I go, I hear the music of KLCE 97. What is this like for you guys this time of year? Is it crazy busy for you, or?
It is actually. It's a lot of times. Well, I don't think anybody really relaxes at Christmas. The guys on the rock station sure do.
Yeah.
They don't have anything going on right now. But we're all hustling and bustling and getting presents and stuff like that. But our audience really, KLCE mostly caters to an audience of moms and some dads and mostly families. We're a mass appeal radio station. But at Christmas, our target demographic goes from there to kids to 1 to 92. So, we usually see listenership, triple?
Triple, at least triple
About this time of year.
during the Christmas season.
And Liza, your streams online, aren't they through the roof
Yeah,
too?
through the roof. And that's always neat too. I had a woman message me the other day and she said, Melaleuca Maka. I said, are you making a request? She said, no, I'm listening in Maui. So yay, Merry Christmas.
That's great.
Yeah.
Listeners from all over the place that we didn't even expect, which is fantastic.
Now, how do you get ready for December as far as choosing the songs and making sure you have a good variety? Because there is a variety in Christmas music like any other genre.
Yeah, that's a great question, because there was actually one guy in this building who said to me, and I think this is when he was relatively new, he said, don't you guys just put on the same tape as last year? And that is
It's painful.
as you can tell from Liza's expression.
Sorry.
That's the worst thing you can say to a radio programmer, I think, because there's a lot of research that's involved, and there's a reason you can go to. I mean, you can be listening to KLCE in your car. You can go to the mall, you can go to one of the big box stores, and then you can sit down at the restaurant and hear pretty much a consistent playlist.
Right.
The hits are Bing Crosby, White Christmas, Burl Ives, Holly Jolly Christmas, Bobby Helms, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, Brenda Lee, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, Bobby Helms, Jingle Bell Rock, which ones am I missing? Nat King Cole. But there's also, a different order to it. There's different product that comes out every year. Liza's a traditionalist.
I really am. I like carols. And there's a difference between Christmas carols and Christmas songs. While some people can't wait to hear Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer or even Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, I'm all Oh Holy Night, O Come Emmanuel, Silent Night. I like
The one I can't pronounce, Good King
Wenceslas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like really the traditional ones. And but I understand the need to sometimes rock around the Christmas tree too, which is fun.
Well, and speaking of rock, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is killer. Kelly Clarkson, Underneath the Tree, which is a direct ripoff of Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, but
Which
we're not supposed to
probably
mention
has
that.
All I Want for Christmas Is You now a classic? Or
94, right? Yeah, I would call it a
94.
classic. It's almost a quarter of a century old. I don't know if I would lump it with Bing Crosby, White Christmas from 1942, but, it's maybe with the Carpenters,
But
Christmas Portrait from
tell me about the
1977.
People that try to make Christmas records, new Christmas records, and why that doesn't succeed, because that's so interesting.
It seems like every artist comes out with a Christmas album, as many as they can.
Well, let's talk about that. There's this huge cash grab, especially for new artists, and probably I think the best example I could use in this day and age is Taylor Swift. She was her breakthrough was, I think, 2008. probably in the last 10 years, 9 years. And immediately afterwards, they said, oh, we've got a star on our hands with one hit record, Teardrops on My Guitar. Let's make a Christmas album. And it is horrible.
Horrible.
I love Taylor Swift. She is the world's biggest pop star right now, her and Biebs. And her Christmas album is just horrible. I wish she'd do another one. But yeah, so you see a lot of people wanting to break into Christmas music. And the issue with that is, Christmas music as a genre is 75 years old. Bing Crosby, White Christmas, 1942. It was a hit, and I always...
Get ready. Here it comes. This is my favorite.
She knows what stories I tell and when.
He is about to give you the lowdown on Christmas music.
Let's hear it.
I have heard this once or twice before.
So yeah.
Start at the beginning.
Every year for the last 8 years, she's heard this story. So Holiday Inn came out in 1942, and in it, Bing Crosby, White Christmas.
Which is the first time White Christmas was ever played. Everybody thinks it was first in the movie White Christmas, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that was
It
54.
It was from a movie called Holiday Inn.
It wasn't in what? Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, they did sing it in White
played it,
Christmas
but
too,
yeah.
but Holiday Inn was sort of the original.
Okay, so they plays it on the movie.
Yeah, so here we are, 1942. Is that World War II? We in World War II by then? Yeah. And Bing Crosby, it actually wasn't supposed to be the biggest song in the movie. The biggest song in the movie was supposed to be Count Your Blessings, I think. Anyway, so it was a huge hit, and people just loved it, and it was #1. And this is what I say to people who say, oh, Christmas music, it just comes earlier and earlier every year. Bing Crosby, White Christmas was the #1 hit on the top of the Pops chart on October 31st, 1942. For 11 weeks. So, yeah, so those people that say Christmas music comes earlier and earlier every year, probably aren't listening to Sirius XM satellite radio in LA, because at midnight November 1st, basically Halloween night, they switched to Christmas music. So you could be driving to a Halloween party in LA and,
Here comes Jingle Bells.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
In Richmond, where I used to live, there was a station that did that, Jack FM. They flipped the switch on Halloween night. How do you all decide when to transition?
That's a great question, because, in this area here in East Idaho, KLCE really has been the go-to Christmas station for as long as I can remember. I mean, I think decades, 2 or 3. And in an area where it's more competitive, where there are more radio stations, trying to get their little slice of the pumpkin pie, mincemeat pie, I don't know, what do you have at Christmas? When there's competitiveness that we don't really have here, some stations are like, okay, we got to be first. We have to own that image as the Christmas music station. And so the minute Halloween is over, bam. And I actually, having been outside the radio market a little bit, we actually did that a couple times when I worked at 99.1 WMYX in Milwaukee. We did that. It's weird.
But here you do Thanksgiving.
Around Thanksgiving. And there are some purists, right, Liza?
Right.
Who don't really want Christmas music
purist?
on Thanksgiving.
No. I'm a person that says whatever makes you happy, whenever it makes you happy, do it. If you want to listen to Christmas music in July and that's your thing, by all means, have it. I don't put an embargo on happiness and joy. So for people that go, you have to celebrate Thanksgiving and then celebrate Christmas, I don't know why that's a rule. I like to put the turkey in while listening to Christmas music because it makes me happy.
Well, I don't see how the two are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
What do you do on Thanksgiving? You get as many family members in your house as possible, friends, neighbors, or you go to the place where that's happening and you're all hanging out for a holiday gathering. This is the holidays. Yeah. Honestly, the holidays here in East Idaho, just an excuse to get inside where it's warm and be together with friends and family. So.
Well, Jingle Bells was written as a Thanksgiving song. It was actually the first, now I'm doing my Mike Nelson impression. It was actually the first holiday song that was written that didn't exclusively focus on Jesus. And so they said, this is a secular holiday song. And they put in there, have some pumpkin pie, and it was a Thanksgiving song. So I say Jingle Bells is a Thanksgiving song.
Yeah.
It's kind of a drunk sleigh writing song.
Right.
Where they...
Right.
Yeah, dashing through the snow.
Yeah.
You guys have been together almost 9 years.
January 5th.
Can you believe that?
Does it feel like 9 years?
No, well, sorry, probably.
No?
It might for you. It doesn't for me.
An eternity
I'm astonished.
Still feels kind of new?
Um,
Or just comfortable?
it feels normal.
Well, we had the weirdest thing happen to us the other day. we had somebody who had graduated from high school well into their 20s.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, Mike and Liza, I used to listen to you when I was a kid."
You're from my childhood.
Is that weird?
And I thought, well, wait a minute. Okay, you're like 25,
Right.
so minus, okay, yeah, 13.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a kid.
Liza, how did you end up at KLCE? What's your story?
I came to East Idaho in 1998, and do you want me to do all the stations? I worked on Cool Oldies 94.9, and then I went to Classic Rock 102 in Pocatello, and then I left there and went to what was 105.5. It was 105 the 80s, 90s, and now. And then they flipped it and made it 105.5 The Hawk. So for a short time, I was on The Hawk. And nobody really remembers that, but I was first.
You did some country.
Yeah.
You did some
yeah.
country music.
And then after that flip happened, I got the call and said, "Hey, do you want to come and work on Classy?" Of course I want to come work on Classy. Of course. That's exactly where I want to be.
Did you have any ties to Idaho when you moved
When
here?
I got here, nope.
Just a job?
No, when I was in college, I roomed with a girl from McCall, and I remember that she showed me her family photo album, and I said, "Are you from an LL Bean catalog? I don't understand." And I just got it in my head that Idaho was the most beautiful place in the world, and decided to end up here.
And when you flipped over to Classy, was it for the morning gig?
It was. It was.
Which is kind of the prestigious one in radio, right? You want morning drive?
I guess.
I mean, you have to get up at 3:45.
Yeah,
But yeah.
but you have the most listeners, and everyone
Yeah.
talks about the morning show.
It's my favorite thing.
Mike, how did you end up here?
Well, I actually, my dad was a chemical engineer at the site. And so I've lived here on and off since the 80s. And I knew that, actually I didn't know radio is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to the Art Institute of Seattle and be a graphic designer. But
Which you would be very good at, by the way.
well, it's,
Yeah, you would be
I don't
very
know.
good at that.
I've got
Let's
this
see
much
some of your art.
creativity.
Let's see some of it.
I'll show you a doodle or something.
All right.
Yeah. But that it just didn't work out that way. I ended up getting an internship at a radio station, and I thought, well, I like words, and I like music, and I like free CDs. This was back when you couldn't torrent things off the internet.
You still cannot torrent things off the
Well, I
internet.
have Apple Music, so I
Right.
mean, you know,
Spotify.
I've got
And concert tickets.
We
Don't forget the
try not to.
concert
concert tickets.
Yeah.
Sometimes free food. I mean, it was perfect.
It
for
used to be
if you're
a
a
good
17-year-old guy. Yeah, it used to be.
It's changed.
And so I started at Z103, let's just say at some point in the very late 80s, and worked there for about 10 years. And I think, like a lot of people here in East Idaho, I thought, I'm going to go see what else is out there. So I lived in Salt Lake for 7 years, don't hold that against me. And then Milwaukee for 3 years. And then when, it's just a bizarre story, and I know a lot of people probably remember it, but there was a guy here by the name of Wayne Richards, and he was just fantastic. In fact, I looked up to him quite a bit, even though I had only had a couple of conversations with him. Well, he was here for 25 years.
Yeah.
Liza was doing mornings with him, and he died in a freak accident in Hawaii.
Yep.
Like a dry drowning,
Yeah.
from what I remember.
Yeah.
And just, one of those things that's completely unexpected, and you feel so bad for his family. He was so young, 54.
Exactly.
And then they gave me the call.
Was that hard to step into that
Oh,
role?
it
yeah.
was horrible. It was horrible
For
him.
both of you?
I didn't
Maybe-
want to do it.
No, it was horrible for him. I mean, honestly, for 2 years, he couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't do anything without people saying, "Oh, well, you know who you're not." I mean, it was.
Well, and I didn't
it
blame
was
him. I mean,
brutal.
How do you feel the shoes? You don't feel the shoes of somebody of a 25-year radio legend. You just don't. So eventually, I think people got used to me. But for the longest time, she's right. I was not Wayne.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Liza. This is not Wayne. I mean, it was
Yeah.
tough.
Or people saying, I really miss Wayne,
All
things
the
like that.
time.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and every 4th of July,
Oh, yeah.
Melaleuca Freedom Celebration, because he was the voice of that for years. Yeah. And I don't blame him. I miss Wayne.
I miss Wayne,
do.
but I just felt very protective of poor Mike Nelson because that was.
Well, she's the person that had to go on the air the very next day.
Oh, yeah, what was that
This
like?
is not very Christmassy.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
okay. We want to hear the story. That's what...
But you do deserve props.
So you found out he died. I was a reporter here back in the day, and
Yeah.
word leaked out. Didn't he die on a Sunday?
He did. 10:30 Sunday night, and that's when I got the call, and I got up in the morning, and I came to work, and then there was a little bit of a discussion about maybe I couldn't come to work, because that, honestly, that was my best friend, and it was really weird. But I felt a responsibility to say, hey, this has happened, East Idaho, and because people took it hard. It was tough. And I was not very professional. I cried a lot on the radio, and it's not quality programming, I will tell you. And I kept thinking, I need to be better at this. Wayne would be so mad if he knew how bad I was on the air today. I was so terrible.
No, honey.
But like you were saying the other day when somebody said to us, hey, I've known you forever. I was leaving a store doing some Christmas shopping, and a very young man said to me as I was turning to walk out, he said, hey, Liza, drive safely, which is kind of a Wayne thing. Wayne always told me that, drive safely. And when he died, people made stickers, and it went all over the reader boards in town. And so to have a, 23-year-old person say, hey, Liza, drive safely, it just made me go, oh, they remember him and they think of him fondly, which is important to me.
Absolutely. So how long did you solo the show until Mike came along?
184 days.
Oh, wow. So 6 months.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Well, we want to talk about a lot more. We're going to take a quick break here, including the future of radio, what you guys like to listen to, for real. Maybe it is classy. It probably is. We'll be right back.
At the Bank of Commerce, we understand the hard work, determination, and sacrifice it takes to run a successful business. That's why we're here every step of the way to help make your dreams come true. The Bank of Commerce, your bank of a lifetime.
Thanks for being with us today. We are here with Mike and Liza. You've heard them in the mornings on Classy 97 KLCE. Of course, they've been playing Christmas music all month long, and they will tomorrow as you're celebrating Christmas with your family. So tune in your radios and you can listen in. So we were talking before the break about you guys coming together as a morning show team. It's almost been 9 years. Not only are you doing radio, but you're involved with community events. Right. The Classy Prom. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have a lot of events throughout the year. Honestly, that's what... I know one of the questions coming up is the future of radio, so I'll I don't want to head it off at the pass, but just say, one of the things you can't get from Spotify and Pandora are the things that we do for the community. So we love to put on the Second Chance Prom.
We love it.
We love doing, so many events in the past too, all of the expos, Trick or Treat Street, sure. Easter egg hunts, 97 Angels.
Classy's 97 Angels just happened. I'm sure you know about that. Over 200 kids in East Idaho got adopted either live on the air or from our website, and then Christmas showed up at their door, or will show up tomorrow.
Wow, that's impressive. As you guys run that program and see the community response, what is that like?
It's amazing. It really is amazing. All of my original reasons for getting into radio are gone. I wanted to get into radio, I think like we talked about earlier, to get free CDs and meet chicks. And my wife actually doesn't care that I'm in radio at all. And now with streaming services, and yeah, as a radio guy, I have Apple Music, I have Spotify. Mainly just to see what the competition's up to. But, one of the reasons I found to stay in radio is that connection with people, is when you could, 97 Angels is just the oddest thing, because people are used to radio people going on the air and saying, call right now to win.
Yeah, we're going to give you something.
And instead, that's my impression of a radio person. Mm-hmm. And instead, we're saying, call right now to give. Yeah. And sometimes those phones aren't ringing.
It takes a little while. Sometimes it takes a little while. And you have this terrible pressure in your chest, and you think nobody's going to adopt 8-year-old Kevin who wants some Legos and needs bed sheets. And then all of a sudden the phones will light up, and there will be somebody that says,
I have an 8-year-old son.
I'm going to take care of it.
He's going to be my shopping consultant. It's just, that's the reason I stay in radio, I think.
So you spoke about Spotify and Apple Music. In a lot of cities, there's not local talent. Isn't it that there's somebody in a faraway city that's tracking the show? It sounds local. It sounds like the DJ you're listening to is down the street, but they may be across the country, right?
Does it really sound like they're down the street?
Well, I don't know.
Are they just saying the time, the name of the song, what the artist was, and then reading something that you could get on the front page of Google on this day? Are they? Do
Especially
they really
if they're
sound local?
Promoting something in the Teton Valley.
Yeah.
Or, right,
Or Riri instead of
right,
Ryrie. Yeah.
Right.
So they don't, I don't believe that in a lot of places radio sounds local, but it sure does here.
Right. We're blessed to have an owner who believes in radio and what it can do. And we're also, I just read a study. There's a radio research group called Edison Research, and they do something, they've done something for years called the Infinite Dial Survey. It's already been done for 2017. And you know, AM/FM radio has a 95% market saturation, penetration, whereas Spotify has about 32%, and I believe Pandora has 32%, Spotify has 18%. Wow. So that sort of gives you an idea. And you know, talking about radio's future, I think that radio 100 years ago, what was radio? We were putting live bands on the air and doing lost pet reports, basically, right? Yeah. So then some time went by and we started doing, soap operas. And then a lot of things were supposed to come along and kill radio, like television. Why would you listen to something when you could listen to and watch something? Mm-hmm. And so about then, actually, was the birth of rock and roll, 1955. So consumers repurposed radio. We didn't change anything. They said, this is what we want from you now. So we started playing rock and roll music. And that lasted for a few years. In the 70s, beautiful music. Cassettes came along. That was supposed to kill radio. Look, you can have your own music with you in a very portable form. The Sony Discman came along. That was supposed to kill radio.
But you have high quality music right there, wherever you wanted.
Now we're into the 90s, where satellite radio was supposed to kill radio, terrestrial radio. And of course, Sirius and XM both did so well that one of them had to buy the other to stay alive. Then the iPod came along, was supposed to kill radio. Now we're up to streaming services, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, even podcasting, all supposed to kill radio, but none of them have. And I think that's because radio is just so easy to use. Even if you listen to it without the radio now, like you were saying on the website, works on any device, klce.com, click listen live. Or these days I find myself it's just so easy, and I'm sorry for setting off your devices, to say, Alexa, play Classy 97, right?
You can say it again if you want, real quiet. Yeah.
Alexa, all of a sudden it pops on.
Set a reminder to play Classy 97, commercial-free classic Christmas music tonight from 9 p.m. till tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
Perfect, that was great.
Yeah.
He worked a little promo in there.
All right.
So where's the future?
I think if anything does kill radio, I think if something finally comes along that just smacks terrestrial radio down for the last time, the listeners will do to radio what they've always done, which is repurpose it. And so our mission is going to be local, local, local. Tying it back around to 97 Angels and the Classy 97 Second Chance Prom, our mission will probably be back on the air 110 years later, 120 years later, doing local bands and lost pet reports.
Right.
Isn't that funny? But
Full circle.
Exactly.
But nothing can replace that. Like
Right.
No,
nothing can replace that local feel.
And this is such a ridiculous example, but where do you find out your school closures? How do you find out what the actual weather is in the city in which you live, or the driving conditions? Where else can you call up and talk to Mike and Liza and say, I need to hear this song right now for this reason? And we get that so much, right now for this reason.
Yeah, and we all have our Facebook feeds and our weather feed. But one of the biggest examples of where I think radio's importance will be happened this year when the eclipse was looming. Do you remember that? We had all sorts of city and government offices calling us, hospitals, and saying, hey, if it's true what they say is going to happen, where our population is going to quadruple, and emergency services are required, and the cell phone towers are overloaded, can we call you and get a message to you? And I thought, that's what radio is going to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Local communication.
So what kind of music do you guys like, Liza?
I like something that falls into what's called the AAA format. I like indie, folky bands like that.
Coffee shop, corner stool protest singer.
This is him making fun of me, but yeah, I grew up in a town with no radio. We couldn't get radio. It was high up in the mountains. There was no radio. And so I grew up on what my parents listened to. And then in 1981, I went away to camp and I discovered a band called Yaz. And I said, oh, what's going on? There are other things other than Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and the Kingston Trio, which was sort of how I was raised. And that's when I said, I'm going to find everything I possibly can. Like I say all the time, I never heard a Led Zeppelin song until 1989. Led Zeppelin wasn't a thing in 1989. I had to go back and retroactively learn everything.
So are you one? If you visit Seattle or Portland, you're looking for the vinyl shops, going through the records. You know, oh, here's.
Yeah, I'm always aware of new bands, especially in that particular genre.
How about you, Mike? What's your favorite?
If I'm all alone, with just me, myself, and I'm cranking the EDM.
Wait, what does that sound like?
Yes. And EDM, for those people that don't know,
Electronic dance
music. Mike Nelson's EDMer.
Yeah, well, ever since Depeche Mode Speak and Spell in 1980, man, I just,
I know.
I love synthesizers and drum machines. And I love Christmas music. I know that not everybody believes this, but even after years of playing it for hours a day, I love listening to Christmas music.
Do it.
We talked before that we were on air, and I said, I want to ask you how tired you are of Christmas music. And they both swear they're not.
Not at all. I will be sad to see it go.
So you're looking forward to December every year?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And no, honestly, around Halloween is like the light bulb goes off and like, okay, time to start cracking on this. Let's
be honest, as soon as we get through the Melaleuca Freedom Celebration, if you're walking through the hall near Classy 97, you start to hear it a little bit. A little jingo jango starts coming out of the programmer's office, and it's like, okay, we're getting ready.
Just like we're about to start working on 4th of July here any second.
Yeah, it keeps coming every year. Is there a format of music you don't like? Or that you don't care to listen to?
It used to be country, but even that. It used to be opera, but I love Mozart, Queen of the Night aria. I mean, how can you, opera's beautiful.
Liza?
No, I like it all. Bring it. Show me your art, that's my thing. Show me your art. What is it about it that speaks to you? Why did you make that? But I like the lyrics, I really care about lyrics. And so any song, whether it's a rap song or a country song or a Christmas song that's going to tell me a good story, I'm all about that.
So what's next for Mike and Liza? The new year?
Boy, at least another 15 years, right?
Right.
Do we have that deal? We got that deal, right?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. We did, when we first got together, we had a quick conversation about what are your goals and what are your plans? Are you here for 18 months? Radio DJs move around a lot. And we said, no, let's do 25 years on Classy 97, retire at the same time, peace out, and then, go be old people.
That's the dream.
We'll have you back on
see
your
what
25th
happens.
anniversary.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Then we'll have some stories. Well, it's been fun talking with you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Nate.
you.
Thanks for coming in, and thanks for the Christmas gifts.
You're welcome.
I'll let everybody know how the candy tastes. Mike and Liza, you can hear them every morning, not just during the month of December. KLCE 97.3.
Merry Christmas.
Go to their website, listen to the Christmas music, and Mike said a minute ago, they're commercial-free Christmas music starting tonight at 9 till tomorrow at 9. So thanks for coming in, guys. Have a good day, and Merry Christmas.
East Idaho Newsmakers is brought to you by the Bank of Commerce, your bank of a lifetime.